Meet Finn. Every single weekday morning at 6:45 a.m. sharp, Finn's alarm goes off with the exact same jarring metallic ring. He rolls over, hits snooze twice, drags himself out of bed, and stares into the bathroom mirror, feeling completely drained before his day has even started. He puts on his suit, grabs a $7 iced caramel macchiato on his way to the office, and settles into his desk for another 9 exhausting hours of answering endless emails, tweaking spreadsheets, and nodding along in corporate meetings that easily could have been a quick email. Finn makes a decent living, about $55,000 a year. On paper, to most people, that sounds completely fine. It is an average middle-class salary. But if you were to open Finn's banking app on the 29th of every month, you would see a single digit left standing in his checking account. Where did all that money go? It was never one massive, catastrophic financial disaster. It was 1,000 tiny, invisible leaks leaking out of his wallet every single week. It was $150 weekend dinners because he felt he worked hard and deserved a reward. It was buying the latest tech gadgets on a whim the moment they dropped. It was order after order of door-delivered takeout because he was too tired to cook after a long shift. And above all, it was the subtle, invisible social pressure of trying to match the lifestyles of his friends and the people on his social media feed. People who, ironically, were living on credit cards and just as broke as he was. Finn lived in a constant underlying state of financial anxiety. Every unexpected noise his car made, every annual insurance bill, every minor medical copay sent his heart straight into his throat. He felt completely trapped in his 9-to-5 routine, working endlessly just to pay off the previous month's choices. Then came the turning point that changed everything. One rainy Tuesday evening, Finn was standing in line at a local grocery store with a basic $40 haul of food. He swiped his primary credit card and the screen flashed red, declined. Standing there under the bright fluorescent lights, with the cashier waiting awkwardly and a line of impatient shoppers shifting behind him, something inside Finn completely snapped. He scraped together the last few crumpled cash bills from his wallet, paid for his food, walked out to his car, and sat in total silence in the dark parking lot. He looked at his life with complete honesty. He realized that if he kept doing exactly what he was doing, he would be sitting in that exact same corporate cubicle 30 years from now, still living paycheck to paycheck, completely dependent on a job he didn't enjoy just to survive. He made a firm decision right there in his car. The cycle stops today. Finn didn't look for a shady get-rich-quick scheme, a crypto moonshot, or a lottery ticket. Instead, he took total control of the boring, fundamental financial basics. First, he built a realistic budget. He sat down with a blank screen, audited his last 3 months of bank and credit statements, and was horrified by what he saw. He was spending nearly $600 every month on food delivery, daily coffee runs, and forgotten digital subscriptions he barely used. He cut the excess immediately, started meal prepping simple dinners, and established a strict golden rule. 20% of every single paycheck was automatically transferred into a separate savings account the second his direct deposit hit. Second, he learned to tune out the social noise. When his coworkers asked why he was bringing a packed container from home instead of ordering sushi with the team, or why he was still driving his 7-year-old sedan instead of upgrading to a brand new lease, he just smiled and kept moving. He didn't care about looking wealthy anymore. He wanted to actually become wealthy. He had a clear target in mind, his first major milestone: saving $10,000 in cash. It took 14 grueling months of consistent discipline, saying no to impulse purchases, turning down expensive weekend trips, and taking on a few freelance graphic projects on the weekends. But finally, on a quiet Friday afternoon, Finn logged into his bank app, refreshed the page, and saw the number staring back at him: $10,000.00. He leaned back in his chair and took a deep breath. For the first time in his adult life, an overwhelming wave of relief washed over him. He wasn't rich yet, but he was no longer standing on the razor's edge of financial ruin. Which brings us to the core question of today's video. You finally saved $10,000. Now what actually happens? This moment right here is where 90% of people make a fatal financial mistake. When most people hit that $10,000 balance, Their brain starts making excuses. They think to themselves, look at all this cash sitting here. I've worked so hard for this. I deserve a break. Let's upgrade the car, book an all-inclusive luxury vacation, or buy that expensive designer watch. They treat $10,000 like a finish line, spend down the balance, and end up right back at square one. Finn felt that exact same temptation. He stared at that $10,000 sitting in his standard checking account, earning a laughable 0.01% interest rate, and felt a strong urge to reward himself. But he caught himself. He remembered his true ultimate goal, ultimate personal freedom. $10,000 spent on lifestyle upgrades vanishes forever in a matter of days. $10,000 deployed correctly becomes a compounding machine that generates money for the rest of your life. Here's the exact three-step decision framework Finn used to transform his initial $10,000 from a temporary safety net into a launch pad for leaving his 9-to-5 job forever. Step number 1. Secure the emergency base. Finn resisted the urge to gamble or dump all $10,000 into high-risk stock picks right away. Instead, he took $3,500, which represented roughly 3 months of his bare-bones survival expenses, and moved it into a dedicated high-yield savings account, earning around 4 to 5% annual percentage yield. This was his fortress. This was his peace of mind fund. No matter what happened to the broader economy, no matter if his company laid people off, he knew he was completely safe for months without taking on debt. Step number 2. Eliminate high-interest friction. Finn had $1,500 left on a high-interest credit card, carrying a brutal 22% interest rate. Trying to earn an 8% return in the stock market while actively paying 22% interest to a credit card company is mathematically foolish. He wiped out that $1,500 balance in one single click, instantly guaranteeing himself a 22% return on that money by eliminating those monthly interest charges forever. Step number 3. Deploy the wealth engine. With his high-interest debt gone and his emergency funds safely in place, Finn had $5,000 of pure, unencumbered capital ready to put to work. Instead of trying to day trade or pick volatile trend stocks, he deposited the $5,000 into a low-cost brokerage account and invested it into broad market index funds, such as an S&P 500 ETF, alongside low-cost dividend growth funds. He was no longer just a consumer buying products. He was now an owner buying shares of the global economy. Now, let's take a look at the actual long-term mathematics of what happened next. Finn didn't just stop after investing that initial $5,000. Because he had permanently eliminated his credit card debt and restructured his monthly spending habits, he found himself with excess cash flow at the end of every month. He was now able to comfortably and consistently invest $500 every single month into those same broad market index funds, completely on autopilot, assuming a standard historical average annual return of 8 to 10% over time. Look at how the snowball effect of compounding interest began to transform his life. In year 1, his initial $5,000 investment, combined with his monthly $500 contributions, grew his investment portfolio to over $11,500. By year 3, as compound interest began to multiply his contributions, his portfolio balance crossed $26,000. By year 5, his continuous discipline paid off as his total liquid net worth reached nearly $48,000. But far more important than the exact dollar amount in his account was the fact that his mindset had completely transformed. Having a substantial, growing investment portfolio gave Finn something he had never experienced before: immense leverage and confidence. He no longer operated from a posture of fear at his day job. When you have tens of thousands of dollars backing you up, you stop walking on eggshells. He began speaking up in meetings, pitching bold creative ideas, and advocating for himself. He requested a promotion and a raise, and actually received it, because he was no longer terrified of the prospect of losing his job. Furthermore, he took a fraction of his free time and extra capital to build a scalable side business in digital content and service creation during his evenings and weekends. He treated his side hustle with the exact same budget discipline he applied to his personal finances. By year 7, the results were undeniable. Finn's side business was consistently generating more revenue every single month than his full-time corporate salary, while his investment portfolio continued to compound quietly in the background, providing an unstoppable financial cushion. One sunny Thursday afternoon, Finn walked into his manager's office, handed over his professional 2-week notice, shook his boss's hand with a genuine smile, and walked out of the corporate office building for the very last time. Not as a stressed, broke employee trapped in the daily grind, but as a completely financially free business owner in full control of his time. Saving your first $10,000 won't allow you to retire tomorrow morning. But $10,000 is the critical tipping point in your journey. It is the moment where you stop being a servant to money and start forcing your money to work for you. It is the bridge that carries you across the gap from living paycheck to paycheck to building true, lasting wealth. The choice is always in your hands. You can take your money and buy the temporary illusion of success today, or you can invest it to buy your true long-term freedom tomorrow. If you are ready to start building your own path forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below with your current savings goal, and let's build your financial horizon step by step. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the very next video.